Is it working? Am I live now? Oh, I didn't realize that was right there. That is my yoga mat. Okay. Okay, I think I'm live now. Yay! This is my first Facebook Live session here on Complete Performance Coaching. I guess I'll go ahead, everyone, just like a couple minutes to join in case we have some viewers that want to hop on here. All right, I see a couple people. This is awesome. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and jump into, what I want to be talking about today. So in case you guys don't recognize me, hello, hi, Shelly. In case you guys don't recognize me or haven't heard my voice before, haven't seen me before, I'm Coach Briley Casanova here with Complete Performance Coaching. It's such a joy to be here with y'all today. I hope you guys are having an excellent week. I know we're all kind of going through this really weird time at home right now, but I feel like I've been thinking about ways to, thinking of the athletes out there or even just all of us. Like, I feel like a lot of these tips that I'm going to share with you about like getting ahead, I feel like they're helpful and really universal and translate across, most sports and, most walks of life. So I have 10 tips today on how to get ahead during this really weird time. And feel free to, jump into the questions if you guys have any. I'll do my best to like keep an eye on the questions that come up or comments. But at the very end, I will definitely, like, after I'm done speaking about all of these tips, I will definitely go back and answer y'all's questions. So if you have any, if anything comes to mind, type them up now or whenever, and then I'll get to those questions at the very end. So maybe that's probably the best way to go about it, because I know 10 tips is kind of a lot. So hopefully if you're here with me now and you have maybe a piece of paper or something to write with or take notes with, I feel like today is a really good chance for you to maybe do that and write down some things that resonate with you. Because like I said, 10 tips is kind of a lot, but these are just kind of things I've been thinking about. So, let's see. I got a little note here from Shelly. I've been following you on Insta. Thanks for the kind words. Well, thank you so much, Shelly. I appreciate that. I'm really glad to hear that you've been a supporter and a follower. So thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, so just jumping right on in here, my first tip, number one. So for my athletes listening or even parents of athletes, tip one I have to get ahead during this really weird time at home. So remember your strengths. Remember what you're already good at. So, and continue to do those things. Like maybe think back to when you were doing really super well in your sport, and think of those habits, think of your mindset, like use that as really like a foundation or building blocks to continue to build upon. Just remember what you've done well before in the past, but also what are you currently doing well at? Like maybe you're handling all this stuff at home really, really well. Maybe you've been really productive already, whether that's with like homework or schoolwork or, staying in shape and conditioning at home. Just basically build off of your strengths and, embrace that kind of mindset and continue to improve and build upon that. I think it's important to, like, if you're going to look back at what you've done well at in the past, like look back in the past for good things, not like remembering all the negative stuff. So starting there with tip number one, that's, remember your strengths and build off of your strengths. So moving into tip number two, and I've been talking about this a lot with my clients, one-on-one and in my group sessions, imagery and visualization. So I say that though, of course, with like maybe the current skills that you want to maintain and keep working on and, compete again in future seasons, especially for my gymnasts out there, keep doing that imagery and visualization and really take advantage of this time to, really work on that a lot and create really vivid and clear imagery and visualization sessions. So incorporating as many of the senses as you can, sight, smell, taste, feel, everything associated with all the senses, really try and make that visualization and imagery very clear and vivid. And I did want to bring up, so not only is that important for the current skills that you already have, but, think ahead to, next season. What do you want to compete next year? Really start working on that, preemptive imagery and visualization. Use those skills that you already have, but, we're talking about like thinking ahead here and thinking in the future. So, think forward to, the next level you're going to be competing, next time around, what skills will you be competing then? Not just the skills that you're working on now and you want to maintain. That's a good place to start, but setting future goals and future skills. Oh, did I stop? Oh no. Can you guys still hear me? Let's see. Is my internet connected? Yeah, my internet's good. My timer's still going, so okay. Hopefully everyone can still see me. If y'all can't see me or hear me, like let me know, but hopefully it's still okay because my timer's still running here. So, okay. Okay, thank you. Perfect. I'll just continue on and keep going. And of course, this will be saved, so in case you guys miss anything, you can always come back and watch this again. Okay, so that's tip number 2, the imagery and visualization, not only of your current skills, but future skills. So for the parents watching, maybe that's another thing you can implement with your child athlete, or if you're an athlete watching, hopefully all of that made sense to you. Okay, I'm getting some good feedback here. Good, you can hear me. Fabulous. Thank you so much for letting me know. This is good. Okay, so moving on to tip number 3 that I have here for you guys. So another way to kind of get ahead, push yourself a little bit harder, and it really ties in well with the last point. It's come up with new goals you want to accomplish upon your return to regular practice and competition. So that, that can look different for everybody. Maybe the goals you have, you just happen to not be able to really work towards just because of the circumstances. Or maybe this is a blessing in disguise, and maybe the goals that maybe you had originally set for yourself maybe aren't as realistic to you right now. Maybe it's time to, make some changes with your goals. I think that's really the point that I want to get across to you guys. Reevaluate your current goals and plan ahead, think of the future. Now is the best time, I think, to take advantage of that and take your mental game and your physical game to the next level. So that's tip number 3. Like, make a clean slate if you need to. Come up with those new goals to accomplish upon return. Okay, so that's tip number 3. Number 4, and I know this probably goes without saying, but sometimes we all need a little bit of a reminder here, and coaches will really like this too. So tip number 4 that I have for y'all is ask your coaches, what else could you be doing to improve? Coaches are so used to probably giving, especially on large teams, they're so used to giving like general feedback across the board to everybody, but now is the time to take advantage of, advocate for yourself and ask them individually, how can you improve? That's what your coaches are there for, right? Like, use them to the highest extent that you can, at least over Skype or Zoom or, however you're communicating with them, or, call them or email them, text them, however you're most comfortable communicating. Just ask them hey, what else could I be doing right now to get better? Do you think am I weak in my conditioning? What about skill upgrades, leadership, being a better teammate? What can you tell me to improve myself? I think that is such a great question, especially if it comes from you, the athlete. If you're watching this, you going out of your way to reach out to your coaches and ask that question, they will be so impressed. And especially because it's genuine and they're not having to drag stuff out of you, and especially upon your return to regular practices, the fact that you're putting in that work now and asking, what can I do, coach? They're not only going to feel good about you coming to them, but they're going to feel oh man, I feel that's the biggest compliment ever, because they trust me and they rely on me for good feedback and advice. So that's tip number 4. Talk to your coaches, ask them what you can do to improve, and take your game to the next level. So, okay, moving on to tip number 5, halfway there, you guys. Now is the best time to reach out to your teammates and keep them inspired. So this is a chance for you to, hold your teammates accountable for what they're doing. So, asking them, in of course a kind way, are they doing what they should be doing, for not only for themselves but for the team, especially if you're on a team sport. I know we have a lot of gymnasts here and that tends to be more of an individual sport, but still take advantage of this time to keep in contact with your teammates, and you get to be the leader by example when you do that. So tell your teammates what's really going well for you, so they can follow your lead, and you make not only yourself better but your teammates better. So I don't know, I think everyone's probably doing a pretty good job of that as is, but I think, and especially if you're on a team sport, this is the time to really take that to the next level and continue to stay in contact with your teammates and don't lose touch with them. This is a really crucial, important period of time for you to, capitalize on your relationships with your teammates, because one day, like, you're going to look back on this time and realize like how much y'all really leaned on each other to get through it. So don't forget about your teammates, even though I'm gonna tell you guys here at the end, like, to stay focused on you, but also don't forget about your teammates. Help them out, because especially if you have like younger teammates and maybe they're struggling a little bit more than you, be on the lookout for them and help them, get through this process too. And I think you guys can kind of fill in the blanks with, the specific details of what that's going to look like for you. But that's just something that I thought about in terms of a valuable tip and something I would want to be reminded of during this time. So that's tip number 5. Tip number 6, stay on top of your sleep schedule. I know that's really hard. But also, like, not only like staying on top of a sleep schedule or just a schedule in general, this is a really good time to focus on maintenance of like diet, hydration, general wellness. If you take vitamins, continue to take those. I don't know. I just feel like, of course, that's probably like everyone's talking about that right now. But my point with this kind of tip number here and this kind of information is just like your pre-practice or pre-competition routines, making sure that you're maintaining as close to a normal schedule, before all this home isolation as possible. Like, sticking close to that as possible is one of the best things I think you can do to come out of this, and thinking ahead, a little bit stronger, a little bit more ahead of the game. So don't let this, time period constrain you and your habits and your routine. At least as much as you can. I know, again, that's probably easier said than done, but it's just something to be reminded of. We could all use that reminder every once in a while. Okay. So, and I see a little movement here in the chat, so I'll get to you guys when I'm done with these tips here, but just letting you know I see you and I appreciate you guys talking there. All right, tip number 7. And I've talked about this again, like in all of my group sessions. I feel like this is the perfect time to heal any lingering injuries or any, lingering aches and pains. Hopefully, it's been a couple weeks now and hopefully you guys have gotten a good jump start on that. But in case like things are still nagging you or bugging you, that, you're still hurting, you're still in pain, this is a time for you to, make sure you're taking advantage of like rest time. So, I mean, you're never going to get this time back again. So just really trying to make the most out of that and enjoy it, don't squander it. Really take advantage of being able to heal those injuries. And that comes with sleep. So your body, your cells recover and regenerate more during sleep. Like, that's where a lot of that cell repair happens when it comes to bones, muscles, and like tissues and joints and everything. And hydration and diet and vitamins are also a part of that too. So the more you can stay on top of all of those things, the better you'll be able to heal, and hopefully, you'll come back even stronger upon your return to sports. So that's tip number 7. Get ahead of your any lingering injuries. And don't forget physical therapy if you have that. Take advantage of that. Do the right numbers. Don't cheat. Listen to what your doctors and physical therapists are telling you. So I know I think I just talked about that in a group session, but or maybe it was my Instagram live. I think that's what it was. But I cannot emphasize enough, like, following the rules of like, what the professionals in your life are telling you. I think that just like, it goes without saying, but it doesn't hurt to say it again. So okay, moving on to tip number 8, just a couple more tips here for you guys, and then I'll go ahead and dive into questions and comments at the end. So tip number 8, find creative ways to stay in condition and maintain your fitness at home. So with this, like, you really got to think out of the box sometimes, because I know especially with gymnastics, we don't all have access to beams or rings or bars, all those kinds of things we're so used to like maybe taking for granted at our practice facilities. So like, get creative with, weight training at home, and body weight training. Like, there's so many resources available now across the internet. And I follow a lot of people on Instagram that are really helpful, at least for me personally, like workout routines that are all free. And I know your coaches are probably already giving you guys enough of those type of, sport specific conditioning exercises and drills. But if there comes a time where you need like a weight, there's so many different things at home you can use for weights, like milk jugs or like water bottles or wine bottles. I don't know, like whatever you guys have. You'd be surprised how creative you can really get if you don't have dumbbells at home, or like, yoga mats or equipment. Like there's so many different ways to work out now. I've seen a lot of really cool creative ideas across the internet. So I don't know. I challenge you guys to take advantage of that, in planning ahead for, the conditioning days when you're going to actually have those equipment pieces available to you. So that's tip number 8. Tip number 9. This is a tough one, I think, and it's tough to hear. It's not, it's not everyone's favorite thing, but it's really important. So it's just a matter of, being honest with yourself about where you can improve and go the extra mile. So, I have a couple questions maybe that you can start with to ask yourself and, just be honest with yourself with. Okay. So first one is, where can you become a leader in your life instead of a follower? And of course, like in sports specifically, that might look a little bit different depending on what you do, but that's a good question just to kind of start with and ask yourself and, really challenge yourself and push yourself to become better, and be a better example. Another question for yourself, where can you push yourself towards growth? Like growth tends to come from, challenge and a little bit of pain, like getting out of your comfort zone. What ways can you improve in that regard? And another question, what's your current mindset? Like, where are you kind of, mentally like feeling yourself right now? Are you pretty positive? Are you choosing like, positive thoughts? Are you feeling kind of down, kind of sad? Like, and no matter where you are, it's okay. But the next question is like, how can you get to that next step? Like, how can you be better? So instead of staying where you are in that one place, how can you, move forward and improve? So let's see. I think I have another couple questions here just for like your benefit as an example. Yeah, I don't know. Basically, my point is ask yourself those really super important and tough questions, and give yourself honest feedback. And maybe if you need to go, like if you're the athlete watching, go to mom and dad, ask like, where can I improve to go the extra mile? And that's a good question you can ask your coaches as well. Hey coach, like where can I, where do you see me needing improvement? Where are my weaknesses? Because sometimes it's easier for us to come up with our strengths as opposed to our weaknesses, and everybody's different with that. Some people have an easier time with coming up with weaknesses instead of strengths. But the point is like, be asking yourself these questions every day and, see where you can grow, learn, and improve. Okay, so that's tip number 9. Take accountability and ownership of your growth in that way. Be honest with yourself. Give yourself that, that tough love if you need it. And finally, tip number 10, stay focused on your journey and yours alone. So I know I talked about, keeping in contact with your teammates and your coaches and, the people in your sport, in your circle. It's important, of course, to like hold your teammates accountable, but also more importantly is holding yourself accountable. So staying focused on your journey, really, like, I think Coach Rebecca does a great job when she says this quote all the time. She says, compare equals despair. And I think that's so true, especially during a time like this where everyone, while we're all going through the same thing, everyone is kind of reacting differently to it, So comparing yourself to others is not going to help you. So I really think the only way to really get ahead of the game, individually, is to keep your focus on you and just lead by example. And then the rest, if you do that, like the rest will just fall into place. I think. Again, I love how Coach Rebecca says compare equals despair. Like that's something I think I'll never forget. And I like sharing that with the athletes as well. So those are all my 10 tips for you guys in terms of getting ahead as an athlete or a parent or a coach during this time that we're all going through. But I'll go ahead and check out, see if you guys have any questions or comments or feedback for me. Please let me know. Please share with me. This is your chance to, directly contact me and hear it straight from me. So let's see if I missed anything. Okay, Shelly says we're doing virtual speaking and getting new conditioning sheets weekly. That's perfect. That's really great. Like staying in contact with coaches and athletes is so important, and now that we have the technology to do it, like I think we should all just be so grateful for that, because man, Zoom and Skype and Facebook and Instagram have been such a lifesaver. I think, at least for me, I don't know about everybody else, but I think that's, I feel like that's probably how most people feel. And Gamal, hello, I see your comment. Stelliana, hello, Romania is represented. Oh, wonderful. Wow, Romania. That is quite a flight away from here. And hello, Carrie. Good to see you. Do you guys have any other questions, comments, or feedback for me? Let's see. It's going so great. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. It's going great. Really good to hear that. Let's see. Any other questions? I guess I can talk a little bit about me in case you guys are new to like seeing my face and hearing my voice. In case you guys were curious, because I know I haven't. This is my first Facebook Live, so I haven't gotten on here to like introduce myself personally. I've done it on the Instagram, but not here on Facebook. Um, I was a University of Michigan gymnast from 2013 to 2016. I graduated high school semester early, so I could attend in 2013 on a full scholarship. Let's see. And I was team captain, one of the senior team captains my senior year at Michigan. And I got my bachelor's degree in psychology from there. So go blue. And I'm very, very proud to be here with you guys today. Let's see. South Africa represented. Well done. Fabulous. Wow. South Africa. That is also quite a flight away from where I am. Oh, I guess I could tell you guys where I am. So I'm in Dallas, Texas. I was born and raised here. So I guess that's a little bit more about me in case we have any fellow Texans out there. I know we have a lot of gymnastics in Texas. So yeah, thanks, Shelly. Appreciate it. Yeah, Dallas is cool. I'm very proud to be from here, and I love still being here. So anyway, it doesn't look like there's any questions in the chat box. Oh, okay. Oh, you're from Oklahoma City. Fabulous. Okay, so we're practically neighbors. You're not too far away from me. That's great. Gotta love my people from Oklahoma. That's great. Yeah, so with all that being said, if you guys don't have any more questions for me, I guess I'll go ahead and get out of here. But before I go, thank y'all so much for listening and tuning in. And I think all of this should be able to be like seen at a different time. So if you jumped in a little late and you missed anything, you should be able to come back and watch at a different time, just in case. I'll do my best to remember to like save everything. Because like I said, this is my first live session that I've had. So I'm a little bit new to this, but yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I wish the athletes, coaches, and parents, I wish all of you listening the best of luck. Just the absolute, best of luck moving forward. Hopefully we're not in this situation for too much longer. But, either way, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I believe in you and the power of, human agency. I think we're all going to be fine no matter what, and we're all in this together. So with all that being said, I guess I'll go ahead and go. But thank you once again. It was good seeing you, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.